Hey, what is up everyone? Today I'm asking the question, what happened to Lego Fortnite Odyssey? Lego Fortnite is a game I've been spending a lot of time in over the last year. When the mode first released, I thought it was just okay, but it quickly lost my interest. Fast forward 6 months later, following some great incremental updates like the mechanical update, which allowed the creation of vehicles, farming updates, and battle bus fast travel updates, which really helped improve the core game. I started becoming interested in Lego Fortnite again following the Star Wars update, which added a whole new campaign to complete, but it wasn't until the Lost Isles update that I finally became hooked. This update was amazing and it added so much to the game. At the time that it released, it was the biggest update the game had ever received, and it added a whole new region, new items, new enemies, and so much more. With Lego Fortnite, I really love building vehicles and flying around, as well as just building up and having a well-resourced base. But as the months progressed, I started running out of things to do with my village. My villages were maxed out in all the different regions, and there was nothing really for me to work towards. The next couple months following Lost Isles update were pretty slow, with nothing big releasing until the end of the year with the biggest release in the game's history. This was the Storm King update, and it revamped the entire game and really improved upon everything across the board. I really love the new crafting system that this brought, and the storm dungeons are really fun and a nice little challenge to have. And I feel like this update cemented Lego Fortnite as a truly amazing game with tons of potential. This is if only Fortnite kept the momentum going. Leading up to the end of the Lego Pass for this Storm Chasers update, I was getting really excited for what kind of next big update will we get for the game. But my hopes were slashed with the new LEGO Pass releasing, and the only update we got was a new recycler and changes to the wall mount. Don't get me wrong, these are both nice additions to the game, but nothing that major. At the same time, the other LEGO mode, Brick Life, continued to get big additions despite being the less popular mode. However, I still held hope for a substantial update soon, with the big Star Wars crossover season coming soon. Last year, Star Wars had a big update in LEGO Fortnite, so I figured this year Odyssey would potentially get another big Star Wars campaign to continue with what happened with last year's update. And this would also explain the lack of content updates for the first part of 2025 leading up to this. Again, sadly, I was left disappointed, with nothing releasing. Odyssey wouldn't get anything truly substantial until the superhero season for Battle Royale, which brought new enemies to Odyssey. This would have been exciting if the update actually worked. Sadly, these new enemies were left broken and unplayable for months, a truly disappointing time for players. Even as I'm recording this video now, many months after this update had released, all the stuff inside of LEGO Fortnite is still bugged. Many players, including myself, can't complete the campaign to be able to unlock the new weapons that were added along with this update. And without those new weapons, fighting these new enemies is kind of pointless because it's just going to be too hard to fight with kind of your normal weapons. So if this update actually released and it worked, it would have been great. But even still to now, nothing really works with this new update, so we're still basically playing the same content that we were playing back in December. At the same time that this was happening, we did get another new LEGO mode called Lego Fortnite Expeditions, which I found quite boring and repetitive. You play a couple rounds, it wasn't really fun to me at all, and I think the only reason you would do it is so that you could get some of the decor items for free that can be used inside of Lego Fortnite Odyssey. But in terms of the actual gameplay, there was nothing really that fun to me in here. It seemed clear that the lack of updates was due to this new mode being created. I will say that the new weapons from this mode, which were added to Odyssey, are a great addition that I do love, but like I said before, I can't access it in all my worlds. So I can access it in my original expert world, but I started a new one both with my brother and then another one with my friend. And in both of those worlds, it won't let us progress the campaign to unlock these new weapons. Moving on a little bit further, we get to the end of this superhero season for Battle Royale, and then at the end of that, we also got a new LEGO Pass. And with this new LEGO Pass release, again, there was no big content update for LEGO Fortnite Odyssey, which is where we are now, with nothing in sight releasing. What's really sad about all this is that Odyssey was actually doing really well, and was starting to attract a decent-sized audience of consistent players. But the lack of content updates and long-running bugs have really hurt the game's momentum. You can still have fun with the mode. For me, for example, I've been working on an expert level world since around January, and the extra challenge with that and needing to be more careful has kept me pretty engaged. But there's so much more that could be done to take the game further. One update I would love to see is a train update where you could build and lay tracks and run our own train lines across the world. I would really love to connect my different villages and ship cargo between them and do other stuff with these trains. Ideally, this update would allow us to have trains that circle around automatically. So basically, I could just kind of go exploring and then I could return and just hop on whenever it came back around. I would also really love to get some pieces that allow for us to have the train switch tracks. So you basically could have multiple tracks going in different directions and you could just choose to switch it. That would be really cool. But then there's also some other really big updates that they could do from different LEGO IPs or different collabs, such as a LEGO City update would be really cool to have like some city stuff going into it. Maybe they could pull in some of the stuff from Brick Life and give us like jobs and things that we could do, have like a whole city update in there. That would be pretty fun. LEGO Ninjago update would be really cool as well. There was a lot of rumors for LEGO Ninjago, but they never really came into fruition, which is a bit sad. But those are just a few of my ideas. There's tons of potential for this game, and I'm sure if y'all want to, you can leave in the comments below what kind of updates you'd like to see for LEGO Fortnite Odyssey. But with this massive potential for the game, what is stopping them? I feel like they started pulling back on the mode mainly because the LEGO build kits in the item shop were not selling well. The LEGO passes, on the other hand, sell pretty well, but that's partly because it's part of Fortnite Crew. I'm not sure how popular the LEGO Pass would be if it wasn't for Fortnite Crew. Without cosmetics or some other paid content that people are buying for LEGO Fortnite Odyssey, then there really is no reason for them to keep going with it. I hate to say it, but it's true. It just becomes an extra cost to keep developing something that isn't bringing in more profit. I feel like LEGO Fortnite could work well with a DLC model if this is the main issue with the mode not getting updates. If there was a one-time purchase for a big expansion to the game, like a new campaign in line with the Storm Chasers update, I would actually be okay with paying that. I do think paywall and content will cause some friction in getting people to play the mode. However, I do feel like at this point there is enough content in the base game where it would be okay to do so. I'm not saying that I necessarily want to have to pay for updates to the game, but I think if we keep in mind that this is a free game that you didn't have to pay for to access in the first place, really the only thing that's paid content currently in the game is like the LEGO passes and the build kits. However, you don't technically need those to enjoy the game. I do think it helps enjoy the game a lot more because it gives you a lot more options in terms of building. But if we were to get some kind of DLC pack where it came with new builds, expansion to the game in the sense like you got new gameplay features, maybe new enemies to fight, maybe new mechanics like I was talking about with the train, maybe if that was part of like a LEGO City update, so then you got like new train mechanics and some LEGO City mechanics, but you also got some like LEGO City builds and stuff, all in like a pack that's maybe like 15 bucks for DLC, maybe 20 bucks at the most. I think a lot of people would be okay with buying something like that. I feel like the build kits, the reason why those failed and people didn't want to buy those is just because it doesn't really change how you play the game that much. They're also just way too expensive. Like one of the buildings from Spider-Man, I thought that build kit was pretty cool, but the only reason I didn't buy it is just because it's so expensive. So either they gotta make the build kits cheaper, or maybe they can look at like a DLC model if they need something that's a little bit more pricey. You have to just give us a value that equals what we're paying. I think it's still valuable to Fortnite because it does bring in a different audience compared to the Battle Royale based modes, but you could also say the same about Brick Life and the other modes that they've created. I really hope that they add something substantial for Odyssey later this year, and that they stop with creating these new LEGO modes instead of focusing on the one that is actually popular and that they already have made. But those are just my thoughts on LEGO Fortnite Odyssey. It's a game mode that I really love. I'd love to hear y'all's thoughts in the comments below on this topic, and if you enjoyed this video, it'd be great if it's a like and subscribe. And until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all later. Bye y'all!